When I say I've come from nothing, that's exactly what I mean.
Yes, sir.
But to see the hand of God, my friend,
Yes, sir.
over these years, what I have concluded is your history has sometimes very little to do with your destiny.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the iLEAD podcast. This is your host, Ahmad Rashad Thompson, the space that you've come to learn, empower, adapt, and disrupt. Today, we've gathered for another very insightful conversation that we believe will help you to add to your leadership legacy. That's going to help you to elevate your brand of leadership and help you to walk in your true purpose as a leader in the world today. As you know, at this podcast, we want to ensure that we are helping you to change your world, to change your life, and to elevate the standard of leadership. And today it gives me absolute pleasure to welcome to the podcast someone that I revere, someone that I look to as a mentor, someone that I respect with a great deal. And this individual, this young man, his name, they would call him, is Bishop Neil Clarence Ellis. Bishop, welcome to the iLEAD podcast. It's so great to have you here. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing extremely well, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you today, Ahmad.
Yes.
I count this as a distinguished privilege because it's a joy to be with a young, prominent, up-and-coming leader in our country.
Yes, sir.
And I want my grandchildren to be able to look back at this years from now and say, wow, my dad or papa knew him.
Yes.
And
Wow.
so it's a joy to be here with you today.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I feel like these conversations are so necessary. I feel like we have less and less examples of real leadership, of authentic leadership, of humane leadership in our world today. And I want this podcast to be an example, to be the beacon, to be the restoration really of leadership today. I feel like we have a responsibility when we find ourselves in the realm of leadership to help this thing along, right? So a part of the conversation we start off with every episode, Bishop, is who is Bishop Neil Clarence Ellis? Who are you, sir?
Wow. I am an average Bahamian, born into poverty in one of the smallest settlements of our country, one of the smallest islands. I'm from Pogie Bay
Hoagie Bay.
in Bimini.
Wow.
I mean, we were so out there, they didn't even call us Grouper Bay. We were Pogie Bay.
Hoagie Bay.
Hardly anybody eats pogie.
Yes.
But I believe I can safely say I'm a physical manifestation of someone who can come from nothing and have the hand of God placed upon them and emerge into something where they can make a meaningful contribution
Yes.
to here and elsewhere.
When you say come from nothing, Bishop, I think that's a statement people take for granted.
Right.
People use it as cliche. I came from humble beginnings. I come from
Right.
nothing. What does quantify nothing for the audience? What does nothing actually mean?
First of all, I came to Nassau from Pogie Bay
Yes.
when I was 11. I didn't realize I was poor until I came to Nassau.
Okay.
And if you understand anything about Nassau in the 70s, I came from Bimini and lived in Montel Heights,
Wow.
which was at that time, and I didn't know it,
Yes, sir.
regarded to be a poor area.
Yes.
But I didn't realize I was poor until I got into Montel Heights. So my parents had 10 children. We all lived in Pogie Bay in a 3-bedroom house.
Wow.
I was child number 7. So at that point, I had no rights, no privileges, no benefits.
Yeah.
I was just a part of the group.
Yes.
You know, and but I saw, man. This is why I didn't know I was poor.
Yes, sir.
Because I saw how my parents took little and made much. See? Both of them were Christians. We were all reared in a Christian home. And I saw my mother fed 11 people
Wow.
with one tin of corned beef. One tin of corned beef.
My God.
And so when I tell you we've come from nothing, I mean, I was child number 7. So I would have been about 9 years old before I had any new clothes.
Wow.
My clothing, which were new to me,
Yes.
were hand-me-downs from my brother ahead of me.
Wow.
And that's how the whole thing flowed in my family.
Yes, sir.
By the time I was 8, turning 9, I got my first Christmas clothes that were new. I mean, I
Wow.
actually opened them up from under the Christmas tree.
Yes, sir.
And this was like heaven to me. That included tennis, shoes. You know, I never went to school with a new pair of tennis.
Wow.
All right, it was always oral stuff.
Yes.
That was the brother before me.
Yes, sir.
And then I went into Montel Heights. I came from Bimini to Nassau to attend high school. Went to Montel Heights. The environment wasn't much better, but it was an upgrade.
Yes, sir.
That's when I realized, oh my God, I'm poor.
Yeah.
I've come from a poor, because you see, even though we were not doing very well in Poggy Bay,
Yes.
we were one of the elites of the poor
Wow.
in Poggy Bay.
Wow.
So if I realized I was poor, can you imagine what the
Yes,
other? And
yes.
they came to our yard
Wow.
to watch the black and white television.
Yes, sir.
All right, and so when I say I've come from nothing, that's exactly what I mean.
Yes, sir.
But to see the hand of God, my friend,
Yes, sir.
over these years, what I have concluded is your history has sometimes very little to do with your destiny.
Wow.
And on a lot of occasions, your history does not paint an accurate picture of what your destiny looks like.
Bishop, pause there for a second. You got to say that again. Your
Your
history.
history sometimes do not paint an accurate picture of what your destiny looks like.
Wow.
For example,
Yes, sir.
as a boy in Bimini, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, I couldn't even dream. I didn't have the right to dream of being anything close to what the Lord made me.
Yes.
40 years later,
Wow.
50 years later. I don't want to say 60, but I really can't. but you know, this and so Ahmad, one of the real benefits of leadership
Yes, sir.
is being able to pull the best out of people you lead.
Yes, sir.
Leaders really don't have the luxury of improving, well, promoting themselves. Real, authentic leaders, their focus should be on the people they lead
Yes.
and pulling out the best out of them to ensure that what you see today is not what you will see 10 years from
Yes,
now.
yes, yes.
You'll see an upgrade in your life. And that should be accredited to good leadership. And leaders whose focus is not on the people they lead, but on themselves, are phony leaders.
Phony leaders.
They're not authentic.
Leaders who focus on themselves versus the people they get the privilege and honor of leading.
Right.
Are phony. You've heard it here on the iLEAD podcast. If your focus is the people, is on you, you're a phony leader.
Yes.
Phony is spelled Phony. In case you have to Google it. Phony leader is you if you are focused on yourself.
Yes.
If, however, your focus is on those that you get the privilege, the honor, to the opportunity to lead into their legacy, into their destiny, then you are more of an authentic leader.
Yes.
Bishop, talk about the difficulty, though, of seeing something in someone, realizing that there's more for this individual, but them not realizing it themselves. How do you lead that type of person?
Well, that's the whole idea of leadership. Because most people, Ahmad, don't know who they are.
Wow.
So it takes a real leader to pull out of them who they are and then say to them, see?
Yes, I
All
told
right.
you. I see
Yes.
it.
You see, so again, real authentic leaders don't have the privilege of admitting difficulty. That's responsibility.
Yes.
If you're a leader, a difficulty is a responsibility as long as the difficulty ties into the people or person you're giving leadership to.
Wow.
See? Because if you didn't have the wherewithal to pull something out of a person who is following you, you do not deserve the privilege of leading them.
Wow.
All right. So what we don't see a lot in our country, and this is why there's such a major void in leadership, in my
Yes.
humble view,
Yes.
is we don't see sacrificial leadership. We see leadership that is focused on I.
Yes.
I. Serve me. Do this for me. Get this for me. Do what I say.
Yes.
Go where I go. Do what I tell you to
Yes,
do.
yes.
And not, my friend, wouldn't it be more challenging? Wouldn't it be more interesting? Wouldn't it be more beneficial if you look at it from this perspective?
Yes.
If you look at it in this direction? And so a leader should always be engaged in the process of figuring out what is it that I can do next to enhance, improve, and advance the life or lives of the person or persons
Yes.
that I'm leading.
We are about 8 minutes in, and listen, if you haven't already shifted your perspective, shifted your focus on leadership already, you stop, pause it, go back, and start this conversation over. Because if it is that you have not taken the responsibility, because difficulty, Bishop, to some leaders is a reason to give up, is a reason to act up and show off and throw your hands up. But you're saying that difficulty that comes with leadership is a responsibility of leadership.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, leaders who, I can't say it like that. Persons in leadership who give up were never leaders. They're just followers who advanced.
So they happen to be promoted into the role for tenure or for some other reason.
Yeah, it may be popularity,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Money, because some people could buy leadership.
Yes.
But you could buy the title, you can't buy the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And the privilege. All right, because someone can name you a leader, but you have to step up to the plate.
Absolutely.
You see, nobody can make you a leader, and I don't subscribe totally to this thing about born leadership.
Okay.
I think you have to be made a leader. You have to be made a leader, and authentic leaders are people who come up through the ranks.
Yes, sir.
Through the ranks.
Go through the process.
Yes, man. You know, a lot of leaders, Ahmad, are taking the elevator. They're not taking the staircase.
Wow.
And that's a problem, because with the elevator, you can shoot up.
Yes.
With the staircase, you got to walk up each one of those steps. And there's a purpose for that, because every step should provide you with a lesson.
Yes. Yes.
You see? And man, Jesus, who was the greatest leader of all times, he was the all-knowing one, the
Yes,
all-powerful one. He could have done this thing from the cradle to the cross in 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
Instead of 33 years.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So why did God plan it like that, where God himself, who came to earth to redeem man, he made a whole world in 6 days.
Yes.
You know, he could save man in 2 days.
Yes. Yes.
Well, why it took him 33 years?
Yes.
Because once God the Son came to the earth, it was everything he did was a lesson to those who will follow him.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so there are a lot of leaders today in all spheres, including the church that I've been a part of for many years,
Yes.
with church and business and politics and government, etc., civic leaders in our country. There are a lot of people who never walked the staircase.
Wow.
They just,
Shoot right up. Bishop, I will share with you, there was a time when I was guilty of looking for the elevator. I want to get there fast.
Yes.
And I had a leader one time said to me, Ahmad, your ambition is going to cost you.
Yes.
And I rebuked her so hard, Bishop, I pray against her
Sure.
for the first couple of minutes. And I felt the Holy Spirit say, and I wasn't, and the Holy Spirit wasn't friends yet.
Right.
I wasn't being led by him just
But
yet.
y'all were acquainted though.
We were acquainted.
Right,
I knew the
okay.
voice. I could
Right.
hear the voice every now and again. I would sometimes ignore it and have hell to pay for it. But as I started to literally pray against this block in my future, I saw her as someone trying to stifle me and hating on me. And the Holy Spirit said, look around you. She is where you want to one day sit. What should they hate on you for? And I say, okay, I ain't hearing that, but fine. I call my grandmother. And I say, Grammy, this woman around here talking foolishness, but my ambition is going to cost me. And she talking about I have to follow the process and this and the next thing. So my Grammy say, well, where you is now? Where you at? I say, on my way home. Come pass by the house. Fine, I get there. And she's baking tarts. And my grandmother today is 88 years old. Mm-hmm. And she's
still making tarts?
Still making tarts.
Can I call her?
Certainly you may. You prefer pineapple or coconut, Bishop?
Pineapple,
All right.
straight up
Yes,
and down.
yeah. I'll take care of that for you, sir.
Right.
She has been baking from she was 8 years old. And everything she does to this day is still followed by a recipe. She does not want to risk the fact that 40 years ago you got some tarts from Miss Mackey, and 40 years later, or Miss Mackey losing her touch. So she says to me, son, look around, what's going on here? You're baking your tart, what's happening? What do you see happening? You baking the tart, I don't understand it. Son, look around you. What do you see? Do you see anything here? Do you see what could lead to the next and that lead to the next? Mm-hmm. I say, Grammy, I come for no lesson. I come for coddling. I come for encouragement. Mm-hmm. Well, son, you can't get it from here. Because if I skip any part of this process, I risk the integrity of my product.
Yes, yes.
You cannot expect to get where you want to go, not having going through what you need to go through. Mm-hmm. And that changed my perspective for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. Because I realized that there is power in the process. Mm-hmm. If you skip those steps, you will miss important lessons along the way. Mm-hmm. How do you, though, Bishop, what is your advice to a leader full of ambition, to a person full with ambition, full with promise, capable, but not interested in taking that journey in its fullness?
Well, I'll just put it like this, Ahmad. You have one of two choices.
Yes.
Because some people are afforded the opportunity to hit the elevator.
Yeah.
Others push them. Others will try to get you there because of their own selfishness. If you're in the spot, if you're in the chair, I'm the benefit.
Yes.
And so they will abort your opportunity for rare leadership just because they make you miss the staircase.
Yes, sir.
All right. See, okay, let's say I'm 60, you 30.
Yes, sir.
Right? I don't see myself as having much more time in this area and this sphere of life here.
Yes.
But I know what you think of me.
Yes.
And so if I could get you to abort the process and get into the chair before my time expires, I know I'll benefit. The only problem is you will be short-lived.
Yes.
Your leadership will be short-lived.
Yes.
Because longevity has something to do with productivity.
Wow.
You see? And you could never, if you don't have longevity with productivity, you'll never have authenticity.
If you don't have longevity with productivity, you will never have authenticity. I need you to write that down. Get your pen and get your pad. Write that down.
But let me say it another way that could make it simpler. See, you could appear to be doing well in leadership.
Yes, sir.
So you look progressive and productive.
Wow.
But it's going to be short-lived because if the foundation is not there, you will not stand the test of time. And every leadership has to be tested.
Wow.
And the strength of your leadership is based on the depth of the foundation. If you did not take the staircase, you will, as fast as you got up to that elevator, you'll be on the way down.
Wow.
You see? And so a lot of people don't survive. A lot of leaders do not end strong.
Yes.
They have a terrible ninth inning.
Yes.
They may have a great one inning, two innings, three innings, five, but in a nine, they don't make it.
Crumble.
They crumble. And there go their legacy.
Wow.
Because if you don't survive in a nine, you will not have legacy.
Wow.
You see, legacy only comes, Ahmad, when one, you have the opportunity for the most part to come out of the chair.
Yes. Yes.
You see,
Yes.
you don't create legacy while leading.
Okay.
Your leadership time is supposed to be spent on healing and sporting and then lifting.
Yes.
So that's not on you.
Yes.
So your legacy is not created while you're in leadership. You have to have the privilege to come out of the chair for a period.
Yes.
And your legacy is really supposed to be created by your successor.
Yes. It's the evidence that's now
Yes.
in place for you after you've
Yeah.
exited that space.
And if you don't have the right successor, your legacy is in jeopardy.
Wow.
Because success in leadership is not success until you have a successor.
Successor. Wow. Okay. So Bishop, hold on, man. All right. We gotta go back a little bit. You talk about that foundation.
Right.
Right? Where did Neil Ellis, so Neil Ellis leaves Porgy Bay,
Right.
comes to Nassau at age 11.
Yes.
At what point do you realize, okay, I'm called to more than just life in the Bahamas. I'm called to more than just what I thought I was called to.
Yeah. Okay, well, I never realized I was called to life beyond the Bahamas till I was like 29, 30.
Wow.
And I was in leadership at that time.
Yes.
All right. Now, see, my leadership, let me give you an idea of the staircase
Yes,
for
sir.
me.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I came into St. John's. I ended up becoming the debating champion for the high schools in the country. But that wasn't leadership.
Yes.
That was good coaching.
Yes, sir.
There were other leaders in my life
Yes.
who coached me and helped to propel me into being the champion for the debating team in the country. But my final year in high school, they created the student movement or student government.
Okay, yes,
right?
sir.
I wasn't a Christian,
Yes, sir.
but
Yes,
the
sir.
student government, and I was elected as the president.
Wow.
So I am the founding president of the student government in St. John's College.
Wow.
All right? That was my rare first taste of leadership.
Yes, sir.
Here I am, the students in our graduating class, some 64 of them, decided we want a graduation. Hitherto, there was never graduation in St. John's.
What?
No, we had what was called speech day. And watch this now. You graduate in June and speech day is in October.
Whoa.
You got to come back after graduation, put on your uniform,
Yes.
and go get your awards. The students in my year say, hell no.
No, we ain't doing that.
No, we ain't doing that. We want graduation, just like GHS,
Yes.
just like St. Augustine's,
Yes.
just like Queen's College, etc. So I am the president. So they say, Neil, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
I said, well, I coming back for speech day. So they said, no, man, we want graduation. That's why we made you president.
Wow, make this happen.
So I went to the principal. I said, the students would like to have graduation. He said, that's not what we do. And it's not going to happen. I
Wow.
went back. I called a meeting with the graduating class. Principal said, that's not what they do. It's not going to happen. And they said to me, too, I remember one of the guys who asked me this question was the former Speaker of the House now, Kendall Major.
Wow.
He said, and you ended it just like that? Mm-hmm. I said, well, you're just the principal. He said, but you're the president.
Yes.
You represent us. You just walk away like that?
Wow.
And I went back and I said, excuse me, Father Strawn, we having graduation.
Yes.
I don't know what got up in me. I said that and walked out and I asked, in my own little student way then, what the hell did I just do?
Yes, yes.
I said, well, anyway, bottom line is we had a graduation. We had a graduation and it was wonderful.
Wow.
And today graduation continues.
Wow.
All right?
Wow.
Now, from there I went on to College Bahamas.
Yes, sir.
I was, the first year I ran as vice president. Right after the election and the semester ended, the person who became the president, his GPA
Okay.
wasn't high enough
To maintain it.
to maintain office.
Yes, sir.
So I was,
Elevated.
yeah. And then I was reelected. So I still hold the distinction today of being the only president to serve 2 years.
Wow.
All right, because it was only a
Yes, sir.
two-year
Yes, sir.
institution. It's a 4-year institution, as I believe my record is going to be shattered in a minute. All right, but those two occasions allowed my leadership ability to be recognized.
Yes, sir.
And rare leaders, Ahmad, people will see it first
Yes.
before you see it.
Yes.
If you see it for yourself, you're not a rare leader.
Wow.
Because see, you know how rare leaders are made? People decide, I don't mind following him.
Yes. Yes.
You see? That's how I was elected president
Understood.
in school.
Yes, sir.
Rare leaders are not that group who says, I'd like to lead them.
Yes. Follow me, please.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
people, we want you lead us.
Yes.
We see something in you that we don't mind following.
Yes.
It happened for me there. And during this process, I was now youth leader in our church, in my home church.
Yes, sir.
And so between the college and the church, this was really taking on form. And while I was at COB, they were getting ready to increase the fees.
Yes, sir.
And the students said, Neil, we can't handle that, man. Bottom line, Prime Minister Pinland and the government, pull back.
Wow.
Pull back. We interrupted, Lord have mercy. We interrupted as students
Wow.
the proceedings of the House of Assembly one morning.
Wow.
They didn't convene anymore until the Prime Minister came down where we were and talked to us
Wow.
and gave us the assurance the
He will
fees
not
are
raise the fees.
right.
Wow.
Okay, man. So up to that point, I still didn't see myself as a leader.
Yes, sir.
I saw myself as the current president,
Yes.
and the president's supposed to take
To do certain things.
responsibility,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And believe it or not, when it occurred to me that I have this call on my life to lead,
Yes.
was at age 20 when I was finishing COB. I was working part-time for a company then that owned a group of theaters,
Yes.
a restaurant chain called Chicken Unlimited,
Yes.
and a dairy farm.
Yes, sir.
I used to work for the theaters as the warehouse person
Yes, sir.
while I was in school. And as I was about to graduate, the person who was the general manager for Chicken Unlimited had a heart attack
Wow.
and died. And they sent me there to sit in for 2 weeks while they did the formal legal work to shut it down. It was losing money.
Okay.
After 2 weeks, I saw where we could turn this around.
Yes.
They refused to hear me and to put any more money in it and all. So I went to one of the directors privately,
Yes.
encouraged him to buy it and give me extra $100,000 and 8 months
Wow.
to turn it around.
Yes, sir.
I took a group of, I think, 30 employees, and they caused me to sharpen my skills in motivational, inspirational training.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was doing there, right? All I know is I got this $100,000 and I got this person to buy this company,
Yes.
and now I'm responsible
Yes.
for turning this thing around.
Absolutely.
Man, in 7 months, we broke even.
Wow.
That's after losing money for 38 consecutive weeks.
Wow.
On the 8th month, we made $7 profit.
Wow.
And I stayed there for 8 years and never lost money.
My goodness.
Never lost money.
Yes.
I left from there to go to the church full time. But it was in this non-conventional kind of leadership style there, leadership position. ordinarily people wouldn't see the general manager for a fast food chain as a place you cut your teeth
Yes.
for leadership. And I didn't know that God, who has a sense of humor,
He does.
would use that to prepare me for church leadership.
Yes.
I mean, chicken and church, ain't no connection.
Yeah.
But you see, God will use whatever is available if you submit yourself to the process.
Yes.
You see? And good leaders cannot be prideful. Good leaders have to be submissive.
Yes.
You have to see yourself last.
Yes.
You see? And so when you submit to a process, God will take the process and give you the position.
Indeed, yes.
And when you get the position, he'll give you the platform.
Absolutely.
And once you have the platform, it's now time for you to perform.
Perform. Yes, sir.
And if you perform on the platform, having gotten the position from the process,
Yes.
God will make you productive.
My goodness. Process, position,
Now, I can't repeat all that.
process, position, platform, perform, productive.
Yes, that sounds true.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
follow the process, you get the position.
Yes.
You submit to, follow the process, you get the position.
Right.
From the position, you're elevated to a platform.
Yes.
On that platform, it's time to perform.
Yes.
Performance gives you access to productivity then.
Yes.
Productivity, I believe, leads to prosperity.
Well, that's another good Peter
Yes,
out
sir.
there.
Yes, sir. Just
Yeah.
6 makes sense.
Or you could also add, you could throw in promotion there.
Yeah.
Because you can move from one level of leadership
To another.
You
Yes.
see? But the only part you have to play single-handedly in that process is performance.
Got it.
Everything else you're undergirded.
Yes.
You just have to submit to the process.
Yes, sir.
But the performance, only you want on
Only
the
you,
platform.
only you on stage.
Yes.
And this is the time now to put what you've been, that process birthed,
Yes.
to practice. You have to
Yes.
show now what you've earned or what you've been through.
That's why you need the staircase.
Yes.
Because if you take the elevator, you're going to fail at the time of performance. And you're going to plummet down.
Wow.
And that's why a lot of leaders don't last. That's why a lot of businesses close down.
Yes, sir.
Because they're trying to shoot right in with run this business
Yeah.
without being prepared. They saw somebody doing good in a business. Oh, I could do that.
I could do that too.
And without the preparation,
Wow.
they spend money and lose money.
Yes.
And in some cases, lose credibility.
Wow. Bishop, I wanna shift gears for a minute. I reached out to you to write the foreword for my book.
Yes.
And I recall a conversation you called me and you said, son, who was editing this book for you?
Right.
And I say, well, Lord
You
of
can
mercy.
tell them this whole story now.
Not the whole thing, just a piece.
Okay.
I say, Lord, if this man asks me this question, I mean the book ain't sense.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But immediately I said, wait a minute. The reason I reached out is because there's wisdom and counsel I have not yet experienced.
Yeah.
Typical people, Bishop, would, who do you think he is? And this is my book.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you are someone who've written books before,
Right.
who have been through process before, who has been able to perform based on that process. I'm at the point of process right now.
Right.
Where do I get off at? It's a thought I had to myself.
Yeah.
Not first of all, welcoming that feedback to me, because it could have been held back. I could have simply gotten a note from your secretary, from your administrative assistant that says, thank you, we decline.
Yeah. Right.
But you decided
Yes.
to call and say, son, all right now. Two things stood out to me. One, who was editing the book for you? Two, I hear your speaking voice. I don't see your writing voice.
Right.
And I pull on the side of the road on Harold Road, Bishop.
Yes.
I say, hold on, sir, repeat. And I start to write. As I said, wait now. This is what people will never get. They will never get the counsel, the wisdom, the insight from somebody who's been there before.
Mm-hmm.
To say to them, I see where you want to go and I see where you can go, but you can't get there doing this.
Yes.
If this is somebody you know edited this book, who got in English, this is the last time they edited it.
Right.
Do what you got to do for them, but move on to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that many people, not necessarily leaders, don't do. They don't receive the criticism or the feedback well.
Right.
They take it personally.
Yeah.
And as a result, they fail. They can never get to the point of performance.
Yeah.
Or when they get there, see now what happened? You didn't
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, first of all, Ahmad, you were writing a book on focus.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I have declined quite a number.
Wow.
Because I said to your team earlier,
Yes, sir.
I'm very cautious as to what I attach my name to.
Absolutely.
I've worked too hard to build a brand,
Yes, yes.
to just allow the softness of my heart
Yes.
to destroy the brand.
Wow.
Right? Now, when the invite came in from you for me to do the forward for
Yes,
your
sir.
book, I ask you,
Yes.
send me the introduction,
Yes.
chapter 1,
And chapter
the
10.
final
Yes,
chapter.
sir.
I don't need the in between.
No.
Right? See, I could tell where you're headed
Yes, sir.
from your introduction and your conclusion.
Yes, sir.
All right? To see if, first of all, the thesis makes sense.
Yes.
See? Okay, I was convinced you were on to something.
Yes, sir.
I would have been recklessly irresponsible
Wow.
if I just go ahead and give you my name and the forward
Yes.
to the text as it was.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, I would have hurt you,
Wow.
and good leaders don't hurt people.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right? You rebuke people if
Yes.
necessary,
Yes.
but you don't hurt people.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I saw, wow, this is good information, but it's a conversation and not a context.
Yes.
You see, your content in a book is totally different from your speech at a
Absolutely.
podium.
Yes, yes, yes.
What I was reading was a speech from the podium.
Yes, sir.
And I asked, okay, who's editing your book? I didn't expect you to give me an answer because I know nobody was doing it.
Yes, sir.
All right? But here was a young man I already have strong admiration for.
Yes, sir.
And he's now becoming an author. There is no way I could, without an effort,
Yes.
let him proceed like this.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you said, well, I'm fine with the way they're wonderful, all the best, my friend.
Take care.
But the forward wasn't coming from me.
Yes, yes.
See?
Yes.
Now look at the product you end
Yes,
up with.
sir. Wow.
I've been telling people about your book,
Wow.
you know, and I call your editor and your publisher.
Yes,
What do you
yes.
think? How do you? I mean, 4, 5, 6 weeks later,
Yes.
you say, Bishop, I'm sending you the revised version
Yes, yes.
of the
yes.
introduction, the chapter 1, the chapter 10. I look at it, I say, wow,
Yes.
I could do the forward for this.
Yes.
You see? And so, Ahmad, therein again lies the real difference between a leader and a follower.
Yes, sir.
A leader would take the advice.
Yes.
A follower would get in his feelings.
Yes. Yes.
Matt, as a real, authentic leader, and I really want to say this to
Yes,
people
yes.
watching me, if you aspire for leadership, if you're in leadership, you're not supposed to get in your feelings.
Wow.
Leaders are built for hurt and pain. All right? I'm a pastor. Well,
Yes.
I was a pastor. I'm retired now. But I'm a religious Christian leader.
Yes.
And people always ask me about, how you could take this and take that and let people do this. Christianity was birthed in pain.
Wow.
It took Jesus on a cross,
Yes.
nails in his hands, a sword being passed in his side and rivets in his feet,
Yes.
and blood shed and that pain. So much so that God the Son, asked God the Father,
please.
why are you forsaking me?
My Lord.
So you can't be a leader, definitely not a Christian leader,
Yes.
and not expect pain.
Wow.
Pain is a part of the process
Yes.
for leadership.
Yes.
All right? People have to desert you. Okay, here we go with Jesus again.
Yes.
The greatest leader of all time.
All time.
Was
All
he
time.
ever denied? Yes.
Yes.
By one of his own.
Yes.
Was he ever rejected?
Yes.
Yes. By the people who were part of the leadership of the church.
Yes.
Was he ever betrayed? Yes. Who betrayed him? Judas. What was Judas? A disciple. Disciple of who? Jesus. Who chose him? Jesus.
Jesus.
Who did he deny? Who did he betray?
Jesus.
So here's the thing with leadership.
Yes.
With real leadership. It's coming now. Y'all ain't gonna like this.
Yes.
But here's the real thing with leadership. You have to, at some point or another, be betrayed.
Wow.
And God always gives rare leaders the opportunity to choose his betrayer.
Wow.
You don't have the luxury of someone giving you a betrayer. You choose them.
Wow.
Because a person can't betray you unless they really know
Know
you.
you.
And they get to know you because you pulled them in
Yes, yes.
close to you.
There was an opportunity to develop a relationship.
Yes, my friend. See, other people could disappoint you, but they can't betray you.
Yes. So, Bishop, help the person who right now is walking through, laying in to the point of giving up because of betrayal. How do you effectively still lead? Because in your point now, Jesus was leading the world to salvation, right? Dying on the cross, being betrayed, being rejected, all of these things, but still had a mission to accomplish.
Yes.
He couldn't say, well, now, Daddy, I ain't back and follow this now. This is what we talk about before you send me down here.
Right.
Right? He had a moment of humanity.
Yes.
Now, if we could let this cup pass.
Yes.
But in that instant,
You a little deep. You
yes,
got a little
sir.
deep now.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
In that instant, though, my will done away with, Lord.
Right.
Yours are fulfilled.
Right.
How does the leader, being betrayed, being rejected, being disregarded, still pull through and complete the assignment?
Okay.
How do you do that?
Okay, let's answer that question first of all by double downing on the point you just made.
Yes, sir.
See, I tell you, everything Jesus did was for a pattern
Yes.
for us to follow. Now, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, the night before he was supposed to complete his assignment of going to the cross, he left heaven knowing
Yes.
this is what he was supposed to do.
Yes.
And for 33 years, he was focused
On that.
on that. One day out, he's asking God,
Man.
do I have to really
Yes.
do this? And the Bible, some theologians suggest that at that moment, a legion of angels came down and scooped him and undergirded him, and he said, not my will.
Yes.
Now, in my theological scope, I've tried to understand why this happened, and I've concluded one thing.
Yes, sir.
It was to demonstrate to us that even in leadership, you can have pain to the
Yes.
point of wanting to
Give
quit.
up. Yes.
Ooh,
Wow.
man, I've had it so many times.
Jesus.
But we don't have that luxury.
No, sir.
Real leaders supposed to pain in private.
Yes.
We don't have the luxury of man, they did this to me. They did that to me. I don't like this. I can't handle this. I'm quitting. I'm not fooling with this.
Yes.
Then you were always a phony leader then.
Wow.
Because if you can't handle pain, you're not equipped to lead.
Wow.
Because the greatest aspect of leadership is being able to conquer yourself.
Yes.
And so Jesus said, man, oh man, let this cup pass away
Yeah,
from me,
man.
God. If we don't have to go through this, please take this cup
Yes.
away from me. Then he said, nevertheless, that's after the legion of
Yes,
angels.
yes.
Nevertheless, not my will, I will be done. And so we see him now, in spite of the pain. Man, I wasn't supposed
Yes,
to
sir.
let this happen. But again,
Yes, sir.
humanity. So in spite of the pain, he goes through this process, Ahmad, the next day, where, he is betrayed.
Yes.
Then he is tried. And you remember Pilate saying all kinds of things to him. And he said, no one takes my life.
Yes.
I lay it down.
Yes.
And then for the most part, he was quiet in
Yes.
that process. Then we see him being crucified on that cross. He takes the time to forgive.
Yes.
What was he doing? He was saying to us as leaders, as painful as it is, and no matter what people do to you, you have to have the capacity
Yes.
to forgive as a rare leader.
A rare leader.
See? And so once he did that, then now he stretched out, and it's amazing. Even while you're in pain, struggling, others around you could still recognize your leadership.
Wow,
So remember
wow.
the thief on the cross?
Yes, yes.
He's saying, listen, man, I know we don't deserve this, but we deserve our punishment, but
Yes,
you don't
we
deserve,
don't deserve this.
Whenever you come into your kingdom,
Please
leader,
remember me.
please remember me.
Wow.
All right. And so we heard Jesus saying, today you'll be with me
Yes.
in paradise.
Wow.
And it goes on until he again showed his humanity when he said, I thirst.
Yes.
I thirst. And then he said, it is finished.
Mm-hmm.
And he died. He was finished, but not done.
Done. Jesus. Bishop, man.
No, see, you could be finished with your life.
Yes.
He was dying, but undone when it comes to your assignment.
Jesus.
So what do we see? We see Jesus now being taken off that cross, go into the grave, the tomb being
Yes.
sealed, but then on the third day, he being raised from the dead.
Yes.
And he comes up, all power
Yes.
is given unto me. And then he shows up in this room the night he was resurrected.
Yes.
His disciples were locked up in a room for fear of the Jews, because they're afraid now. They killed Jesus, they're coming after us, right? And so for fear of the Jews, they're locked up in this room. And the Bible says without a door being open, he bust through the walls.
Wow.
That's the great rare
Yes,
Superman
yes,
Jesus
yes.
there. He bust through the walls and he says, peace be unto you. And they thought it was a ghost. He said, it's all right, this me. See my wound?
Yes.
See? They ran out of that room looking for Thomas, who was not there. And they said to Thomas, we've seen the Lord.
Yes. Yes.
We've seen the Lord. Now, don't let them, these are just now leaders in making.
Yes.
All right? The real leader is not present at this time.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the Lord. Thomas said, man, y'all don't play with me. I was there when they crucified
Yes.
him. I was there when they nailed him to the cross. I saw them put him in the tomb. I saw them seal the
Seal it,
tomb.
yes.
Unless I could see. And that,
Yes.
I wouldn't believe.
Yes.
So 8 days later, Thomas is in the room with the disciples. Jesus appeared again. And he says to them, to Thomas, I know you want to put your finger in my
Yes.
womb in my hand. Come on. I know you want to put your hand in the womb in my side. Come
Yes.
on. Now, Ahmad, anytime you're wounded and unhealed,
Yes.
the wound is still open.
Yes, sir.
For you to be totally healed from a wound, it has to be closed. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, how can you put your finger in a closed wound?
My God.
Which means Jesus was raised from the dead, but still wounded.
Still wounded.
Okay, because he's trying to teach us something
Yes.
here. The process for healing the wound couldn't happen in the grave because the lesson would not have continued.
Jesus.
So Thomas said, I don't have to do it anymore. I believe.
Yes.
I believe. Now, for 40 days after this resurrection, Jesus went on with his assignment, because the grave, I tell you, when he died, he was finished. The work was finished. The assignment was finished, but the work was undone.
Wow.
You see? So he comes now and he goes out for 40 days doing A, B, C, and D, and performing one of the greatest miracles ever when he said to the disciples, move your net from the left side of the
Yes,
ship
yes.
and put it on the right side of the ship.
Yes.
And they caught a multitude of fish.
Yes.
All night they toiled and caught nothing.
Wow.
Right? And so what Jesus was teaching us then, Ahmad, is as leaders, you again do not have the luxury of waiting to be totally healed to go on with your assignment. You have to lead while you bleed.
Wow. Jesus have mercy.
You see?
You have to lead. Bishop, right now. Say that again.
You have to lead
While you bleed.
While you bleed. The fact that you are bleeding, you can't cut your assignment. You
Wow.
can't sit back and wait for total healing to carry on with your assignment, because while you wait, people are dying, people are
Yes.
perishing, people are suffering. And these people need your leadership.
Wow.
You see? And so real leadership, man, we don't gripe. Real leaders don't gripe. You don't come looking for no sympathy.
Yes.
You just put something on your own and
And you
keep
keep
moving.
it moving. You get your calamine lotion or something.
Yes,
And
and
you
one
do.
day, sooner or later, you
It will
look,
heal.
it's healed.
The scab is there, your skin come back,
Yes.
all is well.
But you are supposed to have a testimony for your bleeding process.
Absolutely.
You see, this is what I did while I was bleeding.
Yes.
Now, a lot of leaders don't lead if they're bleeding.
Wow.
That's disgraceful.
Yes.
You are abandoning
You're abandoning ship.
your leadership responsibility.
Yes.
You see? Because bleeding is not an excuse for not leading.
Wow. It reminds me, Bishop, when I first entered banking, I had a leader. She said to me, ignorance is no excuse.
Right.
You don't know what the policy is?
Right.
Don't have nothing to do with the fact that you broke the policy.
Right.
Because when you went through this training and that training, we taught
Right.
you the policy.
Right.
So because you forget it, didn't take it in, didn't apply it,
Right.
that means nothing to the fact that you broke that policy. And I said to myself, wow. So you're saying to leaders, Bishop, that as you are going through, as you are experiencing, because you didn't say that you have to dwell in your bleeding.
Right.
You said you have to lead while you are bleeding. And there's
Yes.
a big difference.
Yes.
Because you could still not give up, but you could dwell and wallow and fester
Yeah.
in that spirit, in that feeling of difficulty, in that period of difficulty.
Yeah.
But your advice to us, is your admonition to us rather, is to while you are bleeding, you must still be leading.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I remember, man, in 1992, my wife and I went through a scandal.
Yes.
It lasted in the tabloid for 86 consecutive weeks.
Sure.
When I tell you this was a painful experience,
Yes.
you don't need that. Just try to go follow the history
Yes, sir.
of my
Yes,
life
sir. Yes,
so you
sir.
could escape that.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure how many leaders could handle that.
Wow.
Right? But let me tell you because I stayed with the assignment,
Yes.
those 2 years in the history of Mount Tabor's church
Yes.
were the 2 greatest years of growth.
Wow.
Because I kept leading.
Yes.
While I was bleeding, we kept growing.
Yes.
Because so often, persecution is what promotes growth.
Yes.
All right? No, they saw the scandal, they saw the untruth, but they saw my response and my
Yes.
reaction.
Yes.
What was my response? Nothing
Yes.
other than lead.
Yes.
For 86 weeks, I had to be quiet. Not say a word.
Wow.
Because I told church leaders, lawyers, and all of them, I had lawyers volunteering to sue these people
Yes,
for me, and
yes.
all the church leaders, why don't we come out and say something? I said, man, those people have more ink than us.
Yes.
We can't out ink them.
Yeah.
You know? So whatever we say, they coming up
Yes.
next week.
With something different, something else.
Yeah, leave them. Let them carry
be.
out their assignment and let me do
Carry
mine.
mine. Wow.
Because I think the real satanic purpose for the scandal was to get me off focus.
Yes, off of focus.
Yeah, you see? And so my responsibility was to stay focused
Yes.
and keep my people going.
In the right direction.
Yes.
But Bishop, now, okay, you are someone called of God, hearing from God.
Right.
What about the young man, the young woman who don't quite hear from God that way,
Right.
and who don't know how it is to then lead and bleed?
Yeah.
Who say, all right then, I know this, I know that, and I rather than responding, they react. Because your response was, I'm assuming, based on your communication with God, who
Right.
may have said to you, son, don't the same for you.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
How does that person, even the person who's connected to God,
Yeah.
learn to respond and not react while they lead and bleed?
Okay, let me put it like this, Ahmad.
Yes.
If I were not a leader going through this scandal,
Yes.
I had the right to respond.
Ah.
But now you've to assume leadership is something that God endorses.
Yes.
You don't have to be a Christian leader.
Yes.
That's why we subscribe to the view even that our political leaders
Yes.
are called of God
Yes.
for that particular season.
yes.
See, I believe real leadership always has the blessings of God on it.
Wow.
All right? And so And so if the blessings of God is on that, it's on you.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
You don't have to be a Christian leader. If the blessings of God is on your leadership for that season,
Yes.
it's on you.
As well.
So you have the capacity and the wherewithal to do what is right.
Yes.
Which is ignore and stay focused.
Keep it moving.
All right. Now, political leaders sometimes, because their leadership is dependent on the votes of the people, you gotta frequently clear things up.
Yes.
Untruth, all that. As a Christian leader, I shouldn't have to do that.
Yes.
I should be anointed enough to take it, suck it up, and move on.
Yes.
All right. Will people let you down?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Will they deny you?
Yes.
Yes. Will they betray you? Yes, once you choose them.
Yes.
Will they hurt your feelings? Yes. Will this hurt your family? Yes. Sometimes the greatest pain for a real leader in having not to respond is watching their family.
Wow. Go through.
Because they're not the leaders.
Yes.
And they going through and they carrying on all day and all night, and you sitting down at the dinner table and how much longer you gonna deal with this and this and that and that.
Yes.
And it's just so it's sometimes it's a balancing act between pleasing family and doing what you think is right. It ain't
easy. Bishop, this is what these conversations are about. It's about helping people heal while they lead. It's about helping people realize that perhaps the fact that it is so difficult is because they are so called, right? I feel like most of the time, the things that we are called to are both blessing and burden. And God knows exactly what he's doing when he's given you that blessing and that burden. Because there are things that I would have witnessed or have been told about Bishop Neil Ellis going through that I could tell you, hey, ain't so.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been, wouldn't have been, shouldn't have been me.
Right.
But God knew it couldn't be me.
Right.
So
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Because there are to your point, to your whole point, this whole episode, unless you are going through something, unless you have gone through the pain, the betrayal, the hurt, you are not truly effectively leading.
Yeah.
You're not a leader, right? What do you say, Bishop, in a way of final thoughts, if you will? How do you, and how does the leader now, because you've answered it in many different ways, what is your last piece of advice for the leader right now who is going through, who is questioning whether or not this is something I should be doing, who has not yet gone through it? What encouragement do you have for the audience in that way?
For persons who are not sure
If this is worth it.
If it's worth it.
They're going through it right now. They are feeling like, you know what? That conversation at the dinner table is wearing at them. Their family is saying, look, man, this is enough of this. It's either this or me.
Yeah.
How do you?
I would simply say to them, real leadership has to be tested.
Yes.
And sometimes those experiences test you, so you could determine for yourself whether or not you.
This is for you.
Yeah, you're a leader. Now, if you give in, even to family, and people who are very, very close to you, then this ain't yours. You ain't been called to this.
Yeah.
See, but if you've been called to it, God ain't gonna let you abandon it.
No.
Do I have to do this? Can you take this cup away from me? Blah, blah, blah. Nevertheless.
Yes.
See, you'll always have a nevertheless.
Yes.
Oh man, one of the reasons why I love my wife so much after 41 years of marriage, she's taken so much.
Yes.
Just because she's my wife.
Wow.
I'm the one called to lead.
Yes.
So I'm the one out front and I'm the one with the attacks.
Yes.
But man, when you done put sperm into a woman,
yes,
she connects to you.
Yes.
So you is you and she is you and he's, you see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so if I hurt,
she hurts.
she hurts.
I just heard it's not my spirit, Bishop. Affliction through affiliation.
Without a doubt.
Wow.
Without a doubt. All right. And usually, Ahmad,
Yes, sir.
the people who you are affiliated with feel it
The
Even,
most.
yeah. Let me give you this quick example.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You remember Job,
Yes.
all right? Bishop, why are you using so many things from the Bible?
What
I'm a
else?
bishop.
What
Okay,
else?
all right.
What's else my point of reference,
so,
right?
so you remember Job
Yes.
and all that he'd been through. After his wife saw what he was dealing with, she said, why don't you just curse God and
Yes,
die?
yes.
Because you know, once he cursed God,
You're gone. That's it.
God can kill him.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I read all kind of sermons, beating up Job's wife, and I remember preaching a sermon one year at Mount David, say, wait up, y'all. It's the wife.
Yes.
She's feeling for her husband. Now, here's the difference. Job is anointed for this.
Yes.
The wife isn't.
Wow.
She's just affiliated with it.
Yes.
All right?
Jesus.
So don't expect those who love you and affiliated with you to respond the same way you do.
You do.
They're not bad people if they want you just
Quit and
cuss
let's go.
them,
Yeah.
cuss them, tell them go to the devil.
Yes,
And
yes.
you know, no, they're not bad people. They just feel for you.
Yes.
But they don't carry the anointing for the office that you carry.
They are simply affiliated with it.
Yes.
Or the anointed anyway.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They're not covered with it. They're
Jesus.
affiliated with it.
Wow.
That's a difference.
A big difference.
All right. Patrice Michelle Ellis, boy,
Yes.
she deserves heaven faster than me.
Wow.
And I believe I've been kind of all right. But the hell.
Wow.
And then coming along, my son and my daughter.
Yes.
Ahmad, I almost lost my daughter
Wow.
to pain
Yes.
and affliction perpetrated
Yes.
by people you help.
Wow.
For a while, my daughter wasn't hardly going to church.
Wow.
And I just protected her, didn't pressure her, allowed her to have her space. Now I think we've redeemed her,
Yes. God, it's so good.
you know? But you have to allow the humanitarianism
Yes.
of your family to play itself out.
Yes.
She don't like what she was saying happened to her dad.
Who would?
But dad, you just blessed them. You just helped them get a house.
Yeah.
You just do this. You just do. Baby, understand. Your dad never did it expecting anything in return.
Yes, yes.
Leaders lead.
Yes.
We don't bargain.
Wow.
See? So you do this for this one because you have the opportunity to do it,
so. Yes.
and you have the privilege to do it.
Yes.
Could they deny you later?
Yes.
Could they betray you later? Ask Jesus. And I'm a Christian.
Yes. Yes.
I follow Christ. And so I shouldn't just follow him for the bread and the fish.
Yeah.
I should, I should be a part of his crucifixion,
Absolutely.
and a part of his resurrection.
Resurrection.
That's leadership.
Bishop Neil Clarence Ellis, this has been, I believe, a conversation that so many people are going to be healed by, because you get a picture, you get an understanding of what it means to still effectively lead while bleeding, while healing. Because the alternative is I could still do what I've been called to do, but do it wounded. Do it and show my wound, if that makes sense. People can show up and still be bitter. So I'm leading, but I'm bleeding and I'm bitter with it. See what y'all do to me? I'm only doing this right, so I only...
Yeah.
Versus...
That's not good leadership.
That's not good leadership at all. Versus saying, you know what, this is a part of this journey that I must walk through so that somebody can not have to do it. Or the second thing is, I can be a better version of myself after having gone through this. If Jesus didn't go through what he did, we would not be able to sit here today.
That's right.
And that is the clearest, most profound example of leadership we will ever experience in our lives. The fact that a God in the human form came down to earth, knowing what he would have to one day do. The thing with us as leaders is that we don't always know what we have to do. We know that there's an assignment, but we don't know all the tenets of we don't know all the steps. We don't know all the steps on that staircase. But Jesus knew that on one day, he will have to go home in a way that it was just bad, for lack of a better word. If we knew that 82 weeks would be a portion of that price I had to pay.
Yeah.
You know what? Everything cool. Like I said, the chicken unlimited. I can do little things here and there.
Where I was making
Yeah,
money. Yes.
I was living and doing. I could give Patrice the thing she deserved.
Right,
And
right.
then if I had known that at some point
Yeah.
in this journey, 82 weeks of our life would be at the hands of somebody else. If people knew the price they had to pay, Bishop, it was May 8th. You were giving the sermon on the commanded blessing. No.
2020.
2020. Pandemic, hot, like heat, nobody can breathe, mask on, stay inside, form the line to go to the grocery store. Okay. And the Holy Spirit said to me September 30th, and I was just getting acquainted with the Holy Spirit, Bishop. We was just coming back to good terms. And not that I was out there like worshiping the devil and stuff, but I was doing things out of routine. I was going to church every Sunday because the people said I should go. Putting on my altar clothes because that's what I was doing from when I was 10. But I wasn't in a relationship with God, right? The reason you could thank Patrice Michelle Johnson Ellis is because you were in a relationship with her.
Yes.
Not because she's your wife.
Yes.
Big difference.
Yes.
Okay. And so now as I'm entering a relationship with God and the Holy Spirit says to me, September 30th. And I said, what to do with that? And he said, wait. I said, okay, now, we coming back to familiarity here, becoming more intimate. This the son who don't know how to wait. This the one who don't understand that as a concept. I need it today.
Yes.
Which would mean, and this was May 8th.
Right. May.
May 8th. This was Mother's Day.
And he tell you September.
Okay. Now, I don't know about that, Lord, so
Yeah.
speed it up. Do what you can do. And he said, if I give it to you now, you will either run away or run out. Now, Bishop, I was famous for running out. I was always a little extra. And nothing wrong with a little extra every now and again. But sometimes what God has for you ain't meant for you to do nothing with it.
Yeah.
But go, like, birth it.
Yeah.
If I give it to you now, son, you can run away or you can run out.
Okay.
And I said, all right then. That sounds like something would make sense. I go hold firm. And Bishop, what happened in that year, the year when the world shut down, that's the year my business started, with $14.77 on my bank account. The Holy Spirit says to me, open the business. I look around, you need money to make money. So what you talking about? Do you trust me? Say less. Now at that point, I was still having conversations with God, meaning I was challenging God. I was answering him back, but not saying yes. So what you mean? Go buy the paint. I don't have no money for no blessed paint to go paint nobody room. Blah.
Now you said blessed or you
I said a word that sound
Like
close to blessed. Yeah, right? And Bishop, right down my phone ring. And I have $400 for you.
right.
Meet me by Sherwin-Williams on Prince Charles there. I can meet you there. Bishop, I go and buy the paint right then. And I painted the space. I've never once used the space for an office. But what birthed from that act of obedience has changed my life for the rest of my life. And sometimes the things that God has us to go through, those processes, Bishop, that staircase, we want to skip. I was guilty of wanting to skip the steps, Bishop. In fact, I want to go in the elevator with air conditioning and fancy music. I don't want to sweat on no staircase. I don't want to go up no staircase and hurt my back and hurt my leg. I want to just press the button and end up somewhere. I want to arrive at the destination. And the Holy Spirit said to me, how do you expect to help somebody else get through something when you haven't gone through anything yourself? And that's when I started to appreciate and understand what this was called, what I was called to do. You cannot get to the point of helping somebody else, son, if you ain't been through nothing. How you expect to be anything to anybody if you ain't do nothing yet to earn it, to that testimony? You haven't been through a trial. And when I was on furlough, when I was down to no dollars on my bank account, when I was down to nobody answering my calls and man, budget, everybody closed, I had no other choice but to rely on God and to build my relationship with God. And now today I sit across from the Bishop Neil Clarence Ellis talking about exactly what I had to go through. Now, have I been betrayed and that sort of thing yet, Bishop? I would say no. I would say the answer is no, but it's coming.
It must.
And I say to people who are listening, expect it.
Yes.
And when you get that blessing that feels like a burden, honor that relationship, honor that experience, respect that experience, because what God has for you on the other side of it, I can guarantee you, is going to truly trump all that you've had to go through before it.
Ditto.
Bishop, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for helping our audience to lead while broken, to lead while healing, to lead while bleeding. But to understand that there's ability to be triumphant after the trial.
Yes.
If you persevere. One of my favorite Bible verses, Bishop, and I will end here, is I think it's James chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man who perseveres through trials, for his is the crown of life. You can't get the crown
Right.
unless you persevere through
Right.
the trial. He didn't say give up,
Right.
pray through, throw your hand up, curse the people, carry on bad, turn over the table. He said, persevere through, for theirs then is the crown of life. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't give up now. This is not the time for you to say, I've had enough of this. I wasn't built for this. You were absolutely built for this. You were equipped for this. You've come to the place to learn, to empower, to adapt, and disrupt. And I am so grateful that this conversation has delivered you, redeemed you, helped you to walk in your true purpose as a leader. If you find difficulty, the question really is, the statement really is, if you haven't found difficulty, you've not yet begun your leadership journey. Continue to press forward. Continue to persevere through your trials because yours is the crown of life. God bless you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, for supporting this podcast. Like, share, subscribe, write the stuff down, send it to your Grammy, send it to your auntie, send it to your boss, send it to your employees. Help somebody else become the best version of themselves. Thank you for tuning into the iLEAD podcast. This is Ahmad Rashad Thompson, your host, and I'm prayerful that you were able to learn, empower, adapt, and disrupt today. Bishop Ellis, God bless you, sir.
Bless you.
Thank you for this. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
What a privilege.
Absolutely.